Really? You missed last week? Girls, tell them what happened.
That was the one where we were all naked and having sex with each other.
See what I did there? I wanted to invite all of you good people, yes, all 94 of you, to an outdoor barbecue where we would indulge in some of Australia's finest ales, and for my US subs, I'll even throw a shrimp on the barbie. The venue that I decided on would have to be somewhere in beautiful Melbourne, Victoria, but it looks like my generous offer of an all expenses trip for all you good people has to be cancelled. Why is that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Check out this numbnut. Daniel Andrews is the Premier of Victoria, and his schnuckle of government clowns has pushed divisive anti-association laws through the lower house of Parliament. Anti-association laws. This will give police excessive powers to issue anti-association notices telling people, including children as young as 14, who they can and can't be friends with or spend time with. I would like to be the first person to test this law if it actually gets through Parliament. I'd like the arresting officer to handcuff me and throw me in the back of the paddy wagon. Well, what happens then when I land in the lockup with other undesirables? Would I be arrested again for associating with them? Huh? Then what happens if I end up at Supermax? Would I be arrested again because of my association with them? Tommy Robinson was right when he said,
I want to say a massive thank you to the people of Australia. During my time in prison, outside of my home country, the majority of emails and letters of support that I sat and read every single one come from Australia. I realised the huge swell of support that was there and the people who love freedom. And I read how concerned they were with the path that Britain has chosen. The path that our politicians have taken us down. A path of death, of destruction and terror. 4 successful terrorist attacks last year and 10 stopped. The main thing is you must learn from our mistakes. You must look at Britain. You must see the path that our politicians have led us down. A path of fear, of intimidation, of death and destruction. A path where the public are scared to even give their opinion. People are losing their jobs for their comments on Facebook and Twitter. I said, people are being censored. People are being put in prison for speaking the truth. All of this is on its way to your country. You need to prepare yourselves.
The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 22 states that everyone shall have the right to freedom of association with others. No restriction may be placed on the exercise of this right. This article also goes on to say that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression, and this right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. So stick that up your pipe and smoke it. The new anti-association laws are fundamentally different to existing laws because the anti-association notices can now be given to children as young as 14 years. So kids, forget about going to the movies, playing sport, talking online or spending time with extended family members. It is now easier for police to issue a notice, and they are not required to even consider whether the issuing of a notice will actually prevent serious crime. The police will only have to show that the person receiving the notice has spent some time with someone who has been convicted of a particular offence. So does that mean if your mum was convicted of stealing in her rebellious younger years, or your father smoked some weed during a Burning Man festival, you, the 14-year-old, could be charged? We all seem to be outraged that a minority of young thugs, namely Sudanese and Kenyan, have created havoc in and around Melbourne.
Over December, we've seen a number of separate incidents which have cumulatively given rise to this whole issue of African youth offending. Nonetheless, it has been occurring for a period of time. That gang crime squad will now be able to be deployed to assist local investigators in dealing with the incident of African youth crime.
Now, data from the Victoria's Crime Statistic Agency shows that a Victorian is more than 25 times more likely to be seriously assaulted by someone born in Australia or New Zealand than someone born in Sudan or Kenya. They are almost 5 times more likely to be the victim of an aggravated burglary committed by an Australian or New Zealander-born offender than one born in Sudan or Kenya. According to the census figures, people born in Sudan make up about 0.1% of Victoria's population. The Kenyan-born population in Victoria is about half the size of the Sudanese-born population. And if by some absurd reason this goes ahead, then this anti-association law will be an attack on our democratic rights. No politician or police officer should have a role in deciding who people can and can't be friends with. You and we should be free to decide who we spend our time with and who we want to be friends with. Every single Australian should be worried about these laws because they're excessive and ripe for abuse. I'm thinking such laws belong in a police state, not in a connected, harmonious community that we all want Australia to be in. Here in Queensland back in 2015, we had a Premier, Campbell Newman, who introduced guilt by association, meaning if I hung around Bubba at the bakery and he happened to ask me about my tattoo of an isosceles triangle on my chest, and where neither of us had committed any offence, all of a sudden, because I happen to be in a particular group or being near particular people, then all of a sudden I am guilty.
Hey, okay, I can just see that you're wearing some clothes today. Can you just identify to me what they are?
Sorry?
Just the outfit you're wearing today, can you just identify to me what that is? What you're wearing?
Jeans, shirt and a vest.
Can you identify to me like what's on the vest? Because it's 30 degrees out at the moment, so can you just describe to me what's on your vest?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, it's really hot outside and you're wearing a leather vest. I'm just wondering why you're wearing a vest.
I always wear a vest when I ride.
Okay, and the patches on those vests.
Yep.
Well, could you please identify what they mean to me?
I don't have to identify them.
You don't have to identify.
You can read them.
Yeah. Can you explain to me what the Misfits is though?
We're a social motorcycle club.
A social motorcycle
Yep.
club? Is that the SMC?
Yep.
Yeah. And can I ask what your name is there? Is that is you've got Misfits, SMC, and you've got Cyclone underneath?
Cyclone's my nickname.
Cyclone's your nickname?
Yep.
Okay. And so that's sort of typical that you put your nicknames on there?
Yep.
Okay, great. And you've got live free, ride free, that's sort of standard as well. Is there anything on the back?
Nope, no back patches.
Oh, no back as well. All right. Do you get those specially made up?
Yep.
Similar laws were introduced in New South Wales and examined by the New South Wales Ombudsman. It was shown that police used the powers in a racially discriminatory way, with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people hit hardest. The New South Wales Ombudsman also found that more than 3/4 of the notices issued to children and young people were unlawful. I am no Lewis Litt, but I am sure that these laws breach the privacy of Victorians and take away some of our most fundamental rights. These laws are plainly incompatible with the Australian Constitution. And I certainly don't need a politician dictating who I can be friends with or what I can do in my private life. I should be free to spend time with whomever I want, without the risk of police intervention and prison. These laws are a shocking and dangerous erosion of our civil liberties. I know some incredible police officers, and if the order was given to commence enforcing these laws, most would be ashamed and embarrassed to undertake such activities. Police officers join the service to fight crime and protect the innocent. So here is the way G-Mann sees it. Human rights protect individuals from abuse at the hands of government. These rights limit what the states can do and create obligations as to how it must behave. The restrictions are there for a reason. Devised in the aftermath of devastating wars and purges, human rights were intended to protect humanity from further destruction. But a new generation of political leaders like this is challenging the entire system. The attack on human rights is often politicised, but human rights are not a question of party politics. They are legal rights laid down in our country's laws and constitution. Rights that other people have suffered for, fought for, gone to prison for, and even given their lives for. So is the situation completely hopeless? No, not for all. There are opportunities. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognise the opportunity, as John F. Kennedy said. We all need to speak up when the rights and dignity of our fellow humans are challenged. Defend fundamental principles such as the equal value and equal rights of every human being. Defend the systems that guarantee these rights. This is essential if we are to ensure a humane future for our next generations. And I'll be damned if you think that you can pass a law that tells me who I can and can't hang around with. I'd love to know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe. It's your human right, and I promise I will lighten things up next week. Now go away and watch more Shameless. I'm Gerald Pauschmann for The Point TV.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!